CBS Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
The New England Patriots and Super Bowl trophies went hand in hand a decade ago. 3 titles in 4 years. Recent playoff failures are a sensitive subject in Foxborough, including a bitter loss to an arch rival last year. But with Brady and Belichick leading the way, the Patriots look to contend again, with the help of some new faces. Detroit hasn't won a playoff game since Barry Gordy ran Motown and Barry Sanders ran Wild. But the Lions' young guns are making people take notice.
Habit, touchdown.
What a throw and what a catch.
He's going to go the distance.
And it's caught for a touchdown. He's taking it home.
Into the end zone. Touchdown.
This is Ford Field, the home of the Detroit Lions, where tonight the NFL preseason on CBS continues. It's the New England Patriots and the Detroit Lions. And good evening, everyone, and welcome to Detroit. I'm Greg Gumbel, along with my Hall of Fame partner, Dan Deerdorf. Before we get started, I'd like to express our sincere thoughts to those having to deal with the elements created by Hurricane Irene. CBS News will keep us updated throughout the evening. Now, as for the game, we have 2 teams here who are unbeaten in the preseason, which of course, Dan, means absolutely nothing.
No, but what does mean something, Greg, is that we're sitting here, the preseason's underway back in March and April and May. I wasn't sure we were going to get to this point. The regular season now, less than 2 weeks away. I'm excited.
Me too. Let's start with the New England Patriots. When you start with the Patriots, you start with number 12, the quarterback.
And number 12 would like to start just where he left off during the regular season last year, because it was the most extraordinary of seasons. The first unanimous MVP in history. 36 touchdowns against 4 interceptions. Folks, it just doesn't compute that a guy could have 32 more touchdown passes than he threw interceptions. He has set the bar mighty high as far as quarterbacking in this league.
Now, the Detroit Lions are believed to be an up-and-coming team in the NFL. That's because they have an up-and-coming young quarterback in Matthew Stafford.
And he's got a giant question mark over his head. Injured both of his first 2 seasons. Can Matthew Stafford stay healthy? Until he does, that question mark remains. But there's a lot of young talent on this team, and it starts with Calvin Johnson. It's his 5th year in the league, but this guy is the proverbial beast at the wide receiver position. And talk about a beast. And Ndamukong Suh, no one could have had a better rookie season than he had last year, first team All-Pro.
Now, the coaching matchup. You know all about the Patriots head coach Bill Belichick, 3-time Super Bowl winner. Did you know that Detroit's 3rd-year head coach Jim Schwartz was a 1-time Belichick assistant back in the early 90s? He is with Leslie Visser downstairs. Leslie.
Thanks, Greg. Well, Bill Belichick said of Schwartzy, may I call you Schwartzy? He said that Schwartzy, and I quote, was the smartest guy I had around. What in turn did you, Coach, learn from Bill Belichick?
Well, somebody's made a lot of money with a book called Don't Sweat the Small Things. Bill's won a lot of Super Bowls sweating the small things. There was no part of the preparation of the team that he wasn't involved in.
He said working 100 hours a week pretty much was good, too.
Yeah, I mean, you know, if you like football, then it's not work for you.
All right, well, we'll also hope your quarterback is upright today. Do you see him need to take a hit?
No, we'd like to keep him sack-free the whole year.
Sure, okay.
He's going to have to. He's healthy. He's ready to go.
Okay, thanks a lot. Greg?
All right, Leslie, thank you very much, and our thanks to Coach Jim Schwartz. We get set to go. The Detroit Lions have won the toss. They will receive. As you probably know by now, kickoffs will take place this season from the 35-yard line. Steven Gostkowski ready to kick it away to number 11, Stefan Logan. And we are underway in Detroit. Through the end zone for the touchback, and we will start from the 20-yard line. In his 3rd season, Matthew Stafford, all the promise in the world, He has to find a way to stay healthy, though. 10 games his rookie year, just 3 games last season. But you talk to most anyone, Dan, they say the sky's the limit for Matthew Stafford.
Absolutely. And I'm not one of those people that just immediately falls in line and says that he's injury prone. He took some giant hits to get injured. Any quarterback, I think, might have ended up in the same position. But he has to stay healthy or this team's prospects aren't great.
He will throw right off the bat. Little screen to Aaron Brown out of the backfield, and Brown has first down yardage across the 30 out to about the 32-yard line. Stafford has a veteran offensive line. It was thought that Jeff Backus might miss tonight's action, but he is starting at left tackle, as are the regular starters. Running back Javid Best won't play tonight. One of the league's best great wide receivers. Calvin Johnson, 1,120 yards and 12 touchdowns last season. 12-yard pickup on the first play from scrimmage, and this is Brown with the run, getting maybe a half a yard on the play. Take a look at the Patriot defense. 2 starters we won't see up front for the Patriots tonight. Albert Haynesworth and Mike Wright, but Pro Bowler Vince Wilfork is there. Pro Bowl linebacker Jared Mayo leads the linebacking core. They're missing Brandon Spikes and Jermaine Cunningham. And in the secondary, Devin McCourty comes off an outstanding rookie season that saw him register 7 interceptions as Brandon Pettigrew makes the catch out to about the 40-yard line. 8-yard pickup will make it 3rd and 2.
There's Jeff Backus at left tackle. He partially tore a pectoral muscle in a preseason workout before training camp started. You know, part of being a pro is being durable. 160 games in his 10 years. He's played and started every game.
Stafford going to go deep down the far sideline. It is caught. Nate Burleson, the 9-year veteran out of Nevada.
And he was locked up against Devin McCourty, the extremely talented second-year corner from the Patriots. And that little stutter, you saw how it just froze McCourty. McCourty caught up, but then he lost separation at the last minute. He got back to where his hips were even with Burleson, but then he kind of lost concentration, focus, or whatever, and fell about a yard back.
37-yard gain, the quick pass inside the 20 to about the 16 to the tight end, and perhaps one of the best-kept secrets in football, Brandon Pettigrew.
If he played for someone other than Detroit, we'd all know about what he accomplished. I mean, this guy had 71 receptions a year ago, 4 touchdowns, and again, when it happens in Detroit and you're losing, your notoriety is just not what you'd like it to be.
6-yard pickup, 2nd and 4. The handoff is to Aaron Brown, and Brown pulls his way to about the 15, and Matthew Stafford and the Detroit offense doing quite nicely without a huddle.
Well, and again, they want to work on some of the things that New England does really well, and one of them, when we talked to them about it, was the tempo. New England likes to run a really quick tempo. You see Indianapolis, the success they have with it, and you're right. That's what the Lions are trying tonight.
From the 15, 3rd and 2, going to go for the corner of the end zone. It is incomplete. Burleson couldn't hold on.
Well, you can't deliver a better pass than Matthew Stafford did right there to Burleson, because the coverage was pretty tight by McCourty. But look at that. McCourty doesn't know where the football is. Burleson saw it, elevated for it, hits him right on the hands, but he can't control it.
So the field goal attempt now.
Is this their new kicker?
From 33 yards out. It's 20-year vet Jason Hansen. And Jim Schwartz says you don't find many people more accurate than Mr. Hansen. 65-yard drive ends up with 3 on the board. Lions with a 3-0 lead on New England. Patriots quarterback Tom Brady waiting for his chance after the Lions get 3 on the board after a 65-yard drive, 63 of those yards coming through the air. Number 19, Brandon Tate, is deep. And here's Jason Hansen's kick. This one will be returnable. Tate at the goal line. And knocked down at about the 12. So here comes Mr. Brady off of an MVP year, 36 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. And the last time Tom Brady was in this building, 4 touchdown passes in a Thanksgiving Day win over the Detroit Lions.
Well, the state of Michigan has been pretty good to Tom Brady. He played college football about 40 miles from here in Ann Arbor, and of course that got him started. That was a nice foundation that he built upon when he got to New England.
Brady to throw on first down, little screen for Woodhead. Danny Woodhead out across the 20 to about the 22, maybe the 23-yard line, and very close to a first down. So it will be second and about half a yard. Brady for Ben Jarvis, Green, Ellis. And he is stacked up, but not until he gets a first down close to the 25-yard line. It's an offensive line that protects Tom Brady very well. Pro Bowlers Matt Light and Logan Mankins on the left side. Terrific tight ends, steady wide receivers, and Green Ellis comes off a season with 1,000 yards rushing and 13 touchdowns.
The 13 touchdowns were really a nice treat for New England, and Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis, and if you talk to Bill Belichick, he's just Benny.
Short drop for Brady. Quick pass to the outside is complete, and out across the 35 to Gronkowski, and we have a penalty marker down. Our first flag of the night. Our referee is Carl Cheffers.
Well, that flag came in right at the very end of that play.
Pass interference, number 85, offense, 10-yard penalty, repeat, first down.
That will be on Chad Ochocinco.
Well, I think everyone knows that Ochocinco is a new member of this Patriots organization. Oh, and he gets speared by Spivey, and I don't know how I don't think Chad Ochocinco was looking for that contact. True, there was contact while the ball was in the air. That is offensive interference in one sense, but when it's initiated by the defender, that's a pretty tough call against the receiver.
First and 20. As the Patriots are backed up to their own 14.
Sure, Chad's going, boy, thanks for nothing with that one.
Brady out of the shotgun, far side of the field. One hops it, and that's incomplete. Intended for Woodhead. The Detroit defense, the young man to watch on the front line, number 90, Ndamukong Suh. Second year out of Nebraska, 10 sacks in his rookie season. The linebackers, Justin Durant, DeAndre Levy, and Stephen Tulloch. And the Lions have experience on the corners in the secondary. Youth at safety. Amari Spivey had 2 picks his rookie season. There is big number 90.
And there is just nothing that this guy can't do. He's smart. He's agile. He's unbelievably strong. Tremendous quickness, good leverage, the whole package.
On second and 20, the give is to Woodhead, and Woodhead tripped up as he crossed the 15. He's down at the 16-yard line for a pickup of 2.
You know, this preseason game, I think you couldn't find two teams looking at it more differently. The Patriots confident, they know where they're going, they follow Belichick's plan. The Lions really want to measure themselves against a good football team. Jim Schwartz's team thinks they're getting better, and they just want to play well against a good football team.
Third and 18. Brady under the gun. Got hit from behind. The ball is loose. Who's got it at the 22?
Well, Carl Cheffers, the referee, you see him in there. He's digging for the football, and he gives it to the Patriots. But just doing that tells you that he ruled it a fumble on the field.
Cliff Averill made the hit from behind right here on Brady.
Now Tom's going to load up, but you can see it's the old hand comes forward without the football. Boy, that was really a good break for Tom Brady, that the ball got hit and not his arm, because that's a great way to hurt a shoulder or an elbow.
Stefan Logan is deep for the kick. From his own 30. Still on his feet, spins across the 40, and is finally brought down at about the 43-yard line. Tom Brady. Little bit of luck. 3-0 Detroit.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Verizon, the official wireless service provider of the NFL. And by Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Here we go.
Welcome back to Ford Field, where this game is a sellout. And we get our first look at second-round draft pick wide receiver Titus Young, number 16, for the Detroit Lions. Jerome Harrison is in the backfield, and we get a flag, and looks like a false start for Detroit.
False start. Number 84, offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
That's Pettigrew, the tight end. This has always been a good football town, Dan. It's just that now they have something really worth cheering about.
And you know, Titus Young is one of the young people that they're excited about. And you're right, Greg. A 6-10 football team doesn't generate the kind of enthusiasm that the Lions are around here. This town is so starved for a winning football team. They're close to getting it.
Stafford out here to the near side, and out of bounds is Jerome Harrison.
Well, it was a good initial drive for Matthew Stafford in terms of how he threw the football. Good protection. He finds Pettigrew there. Then he comes back. You look at the way he looks off the safety. Then he comes back to Burleson with a perfectly delivered ball. And this was the only incompletion of the entire drive. He was 4 for 5, and it should have been 5 for 5 as he placed that one right on the hand.
This is not a fully staffed Patriot defense. A number of players were left home, but nothing to fault Matthew Stafford the way he's thrown the ball so far. And now the screen for Harrison. Harrison with blocking. Midfield. Breaks free. One man to beat with a blocker in front of him. Tripped up and down at about the 11-yard line. Jerome Harrison brought down by Darius Butler, a 52-yard pickup.
Oh, I love a well-executed screen. It's one of the prettiest plays in football. And check it out. Look at the guys out front. Look at the convoy of beef out in front of Harrison. They're all getting the blocks. And then downfield, look at Burleson. Burleson gives Harrison another 20 yards by getting in the face of the corner and running him all the way back to the end zone. Just perfectly executed.
From the 11, the give is to Harrison. Inside the 10 to about the 9. It'll be 2nd and 8.
And I think you can see right now, especially the way that blocks are being finished, the way if you were going to put an enthusiasm meter on both of these clubs right now, the Lions meter would be pretty much up there close to 10. They are excited to be playing the Patriots.
2nd and 8. Stafford end zone. Touchdown. Nate Burleson.
Well, Burleson has been a big part of this first quarter so far. Nice ball handling by Matthew Stafford. And again, Kyle Arrington, number 27 there, unaware of where the football is. He's got his back to it. He's not sure where it is. Only Burleson knows where it is, makes the play on the football. And that I'm sure that makes Burleson feel better after the drop on the previous drive.
Hanson's kick is good. We are just under 7.5 to play for the first quarter. Matthew Stafford has been having himself a ball so far. His Lions are on top 10-0. Hey, play the official fantasy game of the NFL, the first and only game with in-game highlights. It's free and easy to play. Sign up today at NFL.com/fantasy. Jason Hanson getting set to kick it to Brandon Tate and Sammy Morris of the Patriots. Once again, this will be returned. Tate from the 2-yard line. across the 15 and out of bounds at about the 17-yard line. And once again, good coverage. Maurice Stovall making the stop after a 14-yard return. Tom Brady and company back on offense after this.
Welcome back to Detroit, everybody. You see how the touchbacks have really risen because of the kickoffs moving up to the 35. When we talked to Jim Schwartz the other day, he told us, you know, I'm not going to just drive it out of the end zone. I'd like to maybe kick it higher down around the goal line, force them to return it. Look what's happened. The Patriots have started at the 13, now the 17. It's working.
Then Jarvis Green Ellis trying to turn the corner is stacked up as he approached the 20-yard line. And you know, Dan, I suppose you would engineer your kickoff team depending on how good your coverage team was. If you had a lot of faith in them stacking them up, then why not come down short of the end zone?
Exactly. If you think it's one of your team's strengths, if you think your coverage units are, then you want to play to a strength. And he's not just conceding because the kickoff line has been moved up 5 yards, that's an option that's been taken away from him.
On 2nd and 8, Brady throws out here. Incomplete. Danny Woodhead, the intended receiver. Stephen Tulloch got there at the same time the ball did.
Yeah, well, the ball, I believe, hit Tulloch in the back. I'm not sure Stephen, he can take credit for some tight coverage, but I'm not sure he really was, well, I was being liberal when I said it hit him in the back. It hit him in the very low back. Or the high derriere, take your pick. But Stephen Tulloch, that's an interesting way to defend the pass.
3rd and 8. Woodhead in the backfield with Brady. Play clock down to 2, down to 1, and they get the snap off. Brady over the middle, hits his man across the middle, out over the 30 to the 33. It's Wes Welker.
Well, a nice tight pocket for Tom Brady. Both the upfield rushers get routed right past him. You know, this was a problem when they played Detroit last year in the first half, but you see Tom's able to step up, and imagine Wes Welker coming across on a little crossing pattern. Who would ever imagine the Patriots running something like that?
On 1st down from the 34. Then Jarvis Green Ellis. Probably no gain.
You know,
maybe a yard.
This O-line for the Patriots, they're glad to have Matt Light back. He had some off-season shoulder surgery. They invested a first-round draft pick in a new tackle, Nate Solder, and we'll see him hopefully later this evening. Sebastian Vollmer really settled in over there at the right side. But they had a problem in the playoff loss against the Jets. They could not protect Tom Brady, and that has been a point of emphasis, protecting Brady in critical situations.
On 2nd and 9, Brady on the move, has to throw it in a hurry, and he got it across the 40 to Aaron Hernandez, the tight end. That'll be about 3 yards shy of a first down, but a good job by Brady on the run.
And that is not Tom Brady's strength, being on the run like this. You can see play action, but Vollmer gets collapsed, and Tom really has to run for his life. This is not Ben Roethlisberger, where when he's out of the pocket, he's more dangerous than in.
3rd and 2. Woodhead, left side. Looks like he got the first down at the 45.
If he did, it wasn't by a whole bunch. Well, he got a nice spot. Yeah, he got it.
It's really early in the season for you to start doubting me, Dan.
No, I didn't doubt you. I just said it was close. But I also will say I thought the spot was about a foot farther up the field than where I thought it was going to be.
Patriots first down, just under 4.5 to play in the first quarter. They are 2 out of 2 on 3rd downs on this drive. Brady got hit as he let it go, and it falls incomplete.
And again, Tom gets driven to the ground pretty stiffly. Corey Williams in there, and that is a big guy to have land on top of you. Williams is going to come right in there from the right side, and boy, he lands. He doesn't drive him into the ground, which, you know, is a penalty, but he certainly lands on top of him. And there's Gunther Cunningham, the very talented defensive coordinator of the Lions. Pretty pleased right now.
One of the fine gentlemen in the NFL, too. Quick pass out to the far side. And Hernandez tripped up before he could get up ahead of steam.
Well, we've seen Tom Brady take some hits already early in this game, but we talked about that playoff loss, and Tom Brady had a rough day. He was fighting for his life the entire contest. If the coverages of the Jets weren't tough enough to decipher, his offensive line really let him down. And it was, a great game plan by Rex Ryan and the Jets, but physically, they whipped them up front.
3rd and 13. Screen to this side. Hernandez. And Hernandez across midfield, still on his feet, and has a first down inside the 45-yard line.
How do you be as fortunate as the Patriots last year when they drafted both Aaron Hernandez and Rob Gronkowski with a 2nd and a 4th round pick, and you get 2 tight ends like that? And the way they complement one another, Gronkowski being the big giant target, Hernandez more in the Dallas Clark mode. He's half wide receiver, half tight end with awesome speed.
On 3rd and 13, they picked up 14 for the first down. Brady, short pop over the middle. That's complete to Gronkowski, and Gronkowski is down at the 37.
Well, Rob Gronkowski is every bit of 6'6", and what an inviting target he is for Tom Brady. And it didn't take Brady long last year to find him. The guy caught 10 touchdowns last year. Hernandez kicked in another 6. I mean, how do you get 16 touchdown catches from a pair of rookie tight ends?
8-yard pickup, 2nd and 2. Brady, this side. And looking for the diving catch at the 15 was Taylor Price, the 2nd-year wide receiver out of Ohio University. Couldn't come up with it. It'll be 3rd and 2.
Well, Tom underthrew that intentionally because he wanted Price to break back on it. Tom read the coverage. He saw the man coverage, saw the corner wasn't playing the ball. And it was, I think, a late adjustment by Taylor Price back to the football.
So Brady and the Patriots, who are 3 for 3 on 3rd downs, look at another one here. 3rd and 2. Little flip out here to the near side, and Hernandez is going to get first down yardage and then some. Inside the 25 to the 23. 14-yard pickup and another first down for New England.
Well, that's one of the risks that Gunther Cunningham paid for. When you blitz Tom Brady off the corner, if he's got the opportunity, he's going to exploit the side where the blitz came from, and that's exactly what he did. He just replaced the blitzer with his receiver, and it was an easy conversion.
4th catch on this drive by Aaron Hernandez, and this has been Jarvis Green Ellis to about the 18-yard line. 2nd and 5.
Well, that was a good finish, and you could hear that hit. That jumped right into your living room. The good thing about this drive is that the Patriots have awakened and realized there was a game going on.
14th play of this drive. This is Green Ellis again. Inside the 15 to about the 14-yard line. And that would put them about a yard shy of a first down. It'll be 3rd and 1. You know, we were talking about Ndamukong Suh and what a monstrously big young man he is. Weren't you glad to find out he's also really very nice?
Not only very nice, but just really enjoyable to talk to. Talk about a man who is self-assured, who realizes where he's come from, where he wants to go, articulate, intelligent. He is, you know, whatever those 10 things are, he's got all 10.
And shocked us all when he said his nickname in the locker room is Ray.
Ray. Go fix.
Timeout, Detroit. That is right guard Dan Connolly slowly walking off the field. Doesn't look like he'll be back anytime soon. He's been replaced by Rich Ornberger. 3rd and 1. Then Jarvis Green Ellis. Does he have enough for the first down? Let's see where it's marked. From here, he looks short. And he is. And before we get to try a field goal, it appears time will expire here in the first quarter.
Well, we're in a dome. There's no advantage kicking at one end or the other.
Steven Gostkowski will not get it off until we run out of time. It's the end of one here in Detroit. Lions with a 10-0 lead. We're back to Ford Field after this. We're back in Detroit where the Lions have a 10-0 lead. New England trying to cut into that now as Steven Gostkowski lines up what will be a 33-yard field goal attempt. Kick is on its way and is good. And that caps a 16-play drive and a little flare up in the middle of the field, which is quickly broken up. And it is now a 10-3 Detroit lead. Here's a reminder for you. Emmy winner Michael Emerson and Jim Caviezel star in the most anticipated new drama of the season, Person of Interest. Premieres Thursday, September 22nd, only CBS.
Well, a nice long drive there by the Patriots, but there was a theme to this first quarter. It would be the Lion defense and the hits they've been putting on Tom Brady. And you can see it's been one after another, flushed out of the pocket. This time when Williams lands on top of him, that could have, you can pretty plainly see the frustration on Tom's face. And that's a quarter that I'm sure Dante Scarnecchia, the offensive line coach, Bill Belichick, the head coach, they would very much not like to have repeated.
Tom was pretty funny last night. Did anything new? He goes, no, same thing I've been going through here the last 12 years. He said they handed me the playbook. I took a look at it, threw it aside.
Well, you know, we all know that in a compressed time frame, the more veteran the coach, the veteran the quarterback, and the veteran the roster, the quicker they're going to come out of the gate.
Stephon Logan. Will he run it out of the end zone? He will not. He will take a knee. The touchback will start the Lions at their own 20-yard line, and we check in downstairs with Leslie Visser. Leslie.
Greg, during the last timeout, the very animated defensive line coach for the Detroit Lions, Chris Kazurik, told his troops, that's what we're going to do to Tom Brady all night long. That's what we're going to do, although, Greg, he used a little more colorful language.
I bet he did. I bet he did. And the one thing I know for sure is he won't be doing it all night long, because I don't think we'll see Tom Brady a whole lot in the second half.
Jerome Harrison gets the handoff and breaks off left tackle out to about the 23-yard line. The word we get from the Patriots is that Dan Connolly with an injury to his left ankle. And his return is questionable at this point.
Well, again, that's just one more. You know, there's so much talent on the defensive line for Detroit. And just keep in mind that, you know, that their talented rookie, Nick Fairley, isn't playing. Kyle Vanden Bosch isn't playing this evening. So even with those guys out, they still have a formidable group up front.
Titus Young back on the field. Stafford not throwing his way, though. Over the middle, passes incomplete, and penalty markers fly as the ball tipped off of Nate Burleson's hands.
Well, Kyle Arrington looks like he might have been in there early, making the tackle before the ball got there.
Here's Carl Cheffers.
Pass interference, number 27, defense, automatic, first down.
Not in action tonight, Kyle Vanden Bosch, the 11th year defensive end out of Nebraska, who allowed that if this was a regular season game, he'd be playing tonight.
Absolutely. He's got a sore shoulder.
Stafford complete to Pettigrew. Pettigrew across the 35 to about the 36, and they are about a yard shy of a first down.
But again, look at this up tempo that Detroit is running. They're going without a huddle. They are, again, I think, just declaring themselves the importance of this game, what it means to them, and how they'd like to play it fast and play it hard.
Jerome Harrison, the lone back, he gets the handoff, looking for first down yardage, and dances to about the 38-yard line.
And again, this game's starting to get chippy. And boy, you don't see that in the preseason very often.
Come on, guys, let's go.
This is like the third time so far that there's been a little face-to-face confrontation and a little bit of pushing and shoving.
Gosder Sherilis, the right tackle, number 77, was up against big Vince Wilfork. First down for the Lions.
Well, those are two guys that refuse to be pushed around.
Stafford over the middle. That's complete to Tony Scheffler.
This was the play before. Greg referenced Sherilis and Wilfork. That's Sherilis, number 77, the right tackle, and you can see he just finishes his block and takes Vince all the way to the ground, although Vince trips over, and he trips over Peterman and falls.
On 2nd and 3, Harrison getting nothing, and here's a late flag coming in.
Holding, number 77, offense. 10-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Speaking of Gosder Sherilis, that's him. Let's take a look at him.
All right, let's take a look at there. He's right in the center of your screen, 77. Oh, yeah, the left arm. He puts the left arm and just gets it underneath the throat of Vince Wilfork. And that is an easy spot for the referee.
So it's now a 2nd and 13 as the ball is moved back just inside the Detroit 35-yard line. Stafford out to the sideline in a hurry. And bulling his way across the 40 to the 45 is Scheffler.
Well, again, Tony Scheffler, a big guy. He goes head-to-head with James Sanders. Watch right here. He lowers his shoulder. Sanders comes up and delivers a good hit, but he's high, and he can't finish it.
Now on 3rd and 3, Stafford in trouble and goes down at the 36. Kyle Arrington.
Well, after getting flagged for an interference call, that had to feel awfully good to Kyle Arrington. Getting in there and getting to finish a drive on 3rd down by getting the sack. There he comes from the top. He's going to slide right in between the tackle and left guard. Left tackle, left guard. And Matthew Stafford has nowhere to go. Good news for Stafford is that wasn't much of a hit. If you're going to take one, take it from a corner.
Julian Edelman is deep for the kick. At his own 22, slips a tackle and is buried just shy of his own 30-yard line. Stops the clock with 11:40 to play in the first half, and Detroit with a 10-3 lead. Hey, a reminder, you can help victims of disasters such as Hurricane Irene. Text Red Cross to 90999 to donate $10. Standard message and data rates may apply. On 1st down, Brady from the shotgun throws, and it's incomplete to the near side of the field. And 1st-round draft pick Nate Solder is into the lineup at left tackle for New England. All 6'8", 319 pounds of it.
And his job right here is to make a cut on the defensive end, get his hands down so Tom Brady can throw right over the top of him. And that he executed that perfectly. I think they got just what they wanted from that guy, Matt Light. He's had the shoulder surgery in the offseason. They got a good quarter out of him. I think that's exactly what they're looking for.
This is Danny Woodhead wrapped up in a hurry by that man in the middle, and there's a penalty marker down.
Well, that's Corey Williams, and again, what a compliment he is to Ndamukong Suh. He is a solid football player, and when you factor Nick Fairley into this thing, when he gets healthy, what a troika they're going to have going in the middle in the defensive tackle position. I mean, they're going to be flush with DTs.
You're talking about another fearsome foursome here in Detroit.
Well, they're, and after we get this call, I thought Jim Schwartz said something really interesting.
Personal foul, crackback block, number 83, offense, half the distance to the goal, 2nd down.
Wes Welker is guilty of that, and there is Mr. Vanden Bosch, who will be very much a part of that front four.
Well, Jim Schwartz told us when we talked to him the other day that you can run away from a really, really good defensive end. But defensive tackles are in the middle of everything. They're close to the football. And if you've got dominating tackles, they're in on the action more than an end. Now, the ends, of course, are the great pass rushers, the edge guys. But he's got a theory that if he's got strength at the defensive tackle position, it's kind of the old, like baseball, defensive, you start up the middle and take it from there. And Gunther, he's a believer as well.
2nd and 24 for New England. They're back at their own 14-yard line. Brady, quick pop over the middle, complete to Welker, and Welker across the 25 to about the 27, maybe the 28-yard line. So he gets 12 of those yards back, and it'll be 3rd and 12.
Every time I watch Tom Brady throw to Wes Welker, all I think about Wes Welker is a guy that was waived by San Diego and traded by Miami. What a deal for New England when they got Miami to trade Wes Welker inside the division.
3rd and 12, and the Lions fans come alive. Chad Ochocinco has not made a reception yet. Brady, quick pass, had to get rid of it in a hurry. Incomplete.
Well, again, Gunther Cunningham treating this like a regular season game. You see Stephen Tulloch coming up the middle. And did Tom Brady, does his arm in football, does it get grazed? No, it doesn't. He's just trying to get rid of it in a hurry, and the throw is inaccurate.
Logan at the 31. Penalty marker is down as he breaks it across the 45 and is brought down. So let's check the flag. 42-yard kick, 14-yard return. This one was thrown on the far side of the field. Extended conversation. Looks like Carl Cheffers is ready now.
Number 18 of the kicking team went out of bounds on his own. That's a 5-yard penalty that will be added to the end of the return. First down, Detroit. Timeout.
That was Matthew Slater, and we get a timeout with 10:16 to play in the first half of a 10-3 game. Lions in the lead.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by FedEx. We understand you need reliable shipping solutions. FedEx. Walmart. Save money, live better. Walmart. And by Ram Trucks. Guts. Glory. Ram.
Detroit Lions back on offense, and there is Matthew Stafford. Boy, we've been talking about how important it is for the Detroit Lions to keep him healthy, and he has worked hard to regain that health. This is Aaron Brown. Brown turning the corner midfield and is knocked, rather Stefan Logan maybe, out of bounds. But Logan, the speedster who usually returns punts with the carrying the ball there.
Well, Matthew Stafford has had a pair of shoulder injuries that have cost him 2 seasons, and you can see that one. Now, tell me anybody that wouldn't get hurt right there. And again, driven into the ground that time, Julius Peppers. And then against the Jets, he re-injured it. Brian Thomas got him. And again, I mean, those weren't just fluke hits. Those were serious, driven into the ground collisions.
He puts this one up downfield and grabbed inside the 20-yard line by Calvin Johnson.
Now that, folks, is called making an adjustment on the football.
30 yards on the play.
You know, you work a little bit maybe on back shoulder and things like this, but Calvin Johnson, that's coming back to a football. Not everybody can do that, folks. Very few, especially people that are 6'5", 235 pounds.
On that last play, as Stafford let the ball go.
77 offense, 5-yard penalty.
Let's take a look at Matthew Stafford. He's going for Johnson, and you're right. He took one right in the chin that time. Gerard Mayo comes right up the middle, and he puts a pretty good hit.
Dan, remember when Stafford told us that the one thing they needed to work on was more explosive plays? That's their 3rd play of 30-plus yards tonight.
That's not just working on it, that's accomplishing.
1st and 15. Stafford with time over the middle, got his man, touchdown! Tony Scheffler.
Yeah, it's only the preseason, but the preseason is all that we're playing right now, and Matthew Stafford, through 3 preseason games, has been razor sharp.
We have penalty markers in the end zone, and this may be for post-game, post-touchdown celebrations. We'll see.
Well, unless
that's just a bad dance.
Yeah, maybe it's just bad dancing by Scheffler.
Tom Brady getting ready to go back to work.
I don't know if he did something with the football after the dance. You're not allowed to use the football as a prop. But it looked like he discarded the ball.
I think he just put it down. And
I don't think the dance in and of itself is enough to warrant a flag.
Bad as it was. The kick is good. 17-3. Tony Scheffler, and we have a penalty marker down. Here is Scheffler. And well,
offside
it's just
defense. That 5-yard penalty will also be enforced on the kickoff. The extra point is good. Timeout.
It's a community dance in the end zone after that touchdown. When all is said and done, the Lions lead at 17-3, 8:46 to play in the half. No wonder Matthew Stafford is smiling. Look at his numbers. 4 completions of 20 or more yards, 3 completions of 30 or more yards. And it's a 17-3 Lions lead. They led 14-3 last Thanksgiving Day here before Brady brought the Patriots back in the second half and trampled them.
He was very precise in their 2 prior preseason games. He has just been, it has been surgical how he's throwing the ball.
Julian Edelman will get a chance to return this one from his own 4 to the 20 as a hole. Cuts back and out over the 35-yard line. Good return by Julian Edelman. Well, when it comes to solving mysteries, she can do anything but forget. Poppy Montgomery stars in the new drama Unforgettable, premiering Tuesday, September the 20th, only CBS.
Well, I'm sure right now, priority number 1 for the Patriots is when they throw the football, tighten up the protection.
Brady over the middle and came up short for Wes Welker.
And that's not the first time tonight that Tom's been short on a throw. And I think he's unhappy with himself right now because he's got Wes Welker going right down the seam. And he is open. And he is, as a matter of fact, he is wide open. And that was just a very rare misfire from Tom Brady.
Remember, Brady raised something of a fuss by not playing at all in the Patriots preseason opener. This is Woodhead. And Woodhead across the 40 to about the 42-yard line.
I just want to pass on the explanation from the NFL about the penalty on Scheffler. It was you're allowed to celebrate by yourself, but it can't be a group celebration. And I guess before he was finished, several of his teammates joined in. You know, they jumped in, and that made it a group celebration, thus the flag.
I still think a penalty for bad dancing is coming.
That's the explanation.
Brady, play fake. Rolls out. Penalty markers are down. Brady going to run and slide down close to midfield. We have a flag on the near side of the field.
Well, Tom had contact in the pocket, but it was from his own guy who got driven back into him.
Illegal contact, number 32, defense. That 5-yard penalty will be added to the end of the run. Automatic, first down.
That penalty is on Aaron Berry.
Well, that you can get away with your hands inside, but you got to be a little more subtle than that. That's just an all-out grab on Ocho Cinco, and high up on the shoulder pad for all the world to see.
On the outer garment, coast to coast.
Yes. That's a 10 out of 10 getting called.
So that's a first down. New England now at the Detroit 47. Brady under pressure and had to get rid of it in a hurry.
Wow.
And got decked.
I mean, that's a screen pass, but the first rule of thumb for an offense, and here we go again, pushing it, and there's Sue, who just shoved one of the Patriots in the back. But the first rule of thumb for an offensive lineman, folks, is you got to stop the rush cold. Reroute the guy in front of you. You can't let him take a free run at your quarterback. That's Ndamukong Suh, number 90, and he's going to come in on Brady.
After the play was over, personal foul, face mask, number 70 of the offense. 15-yard penalty. The down counts. Second down.
That's Logan Mankins.
Yeah, Sue did nothing illegal there. The problem was you don't let him have a free run at your quarterback. I don't care if it's a screen pass or not. And now he comes in late, and there's another one coming up, and then he actually takes a shot at Logan Mankins, and there's no excuse for an official not seeing Ndamukong Suh throw that hand at Logan Mankins. That should have been penalized. That's a personal foul. There's no reason for that. That is so after the fact, after the play is over. And young Mr. Suh, if he wants to guard his reputation, he's got to stop doing stuff like that.
2nd and 25 for the Patriots. Brady down at the 32. Boy, the Lions are off the ball in a hurry on defense.
Well, we talked about it right off the bat that on the intensity meter, it looked like the Lions were a little more revved up, and Tom Brady is just fighting for himself. And you could see Sue comes in at the very end and sails over the top of Brady. And there he was hoping Brady would rise up so he could get a shot on him, but he sailed over the top.
Second sack of the night for Cliff Averill.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure that either Belichick or Brady saw this coming.
3rd and 31, the draw for Woodhead. Woodhead running room across the 40, close to midfield, brought down at about the 48 or 49-yard line.
Well, and there's no way on 3rd and forever, the way things are going, that you just call another pass play and send Tom Brady back into that pocket. You give the ball to Woodhead and you protect number 12. This is preseason football.
Logan is deep. This one he's going to let it go. It'll bounce at the goal line and take a New England bounce out to about the 10-yard line. 41-yard punt, no return, 6:14 to play, and we have a late flag on the field, back upfield around midfield.
And that is hard to make a football do that. That looked like a sand
During
wedge.
the kick, personal foul, face mask, number 82 of the kicking team. That foul will be enforced half the distance to the goal. First down, New England. Timeout.
Well, we'll figure that one out when we come back, because it can't be half the distance to the goal.
Half the distance to the goal. First down, Detroit.
Carl Sheffers is just correcting. He said that the penalty was number 82, the kicking team. What he meant was 82 on the receiving team, Rashid Davis. So the Lions start now deep in their own territory with just over 6 minutes to play here in the first half. And this is Aaron Brown, and Aaron Brown out across the 10, out to about the 13-yard line, a 7-yard gain. It'll be 2nd and 3.
Greg, we haven't had a chance to talk about Detroit and how they need to find a guy to be the running back. And they need a running game. They sputtered last year. Jabez Best isn't suited up tonight. They think maybe he's going to be the primary guy, but Mike Bell isn't playing tonight. Maurice Morris isn't playing tonight.
This is Aaron Brown, and he's wrapped up for no gain.
And what was really a disappointment for Detroit is they invested a 2nd-round pick in Mikel LaShore, and he tears his Achilles at the very beginning of training camp, and he's lost for the entire season. And they thought LaShore was really going to bring a lot of explosion to Jim Schwartz's ball club on offense. And that, injuries are part of the game. They don't talk about it, but LaShore's injury really set them back, because it's still a bunch of balls are being juggled in the air as to who's going to be the primary back.
3rd and 2 here for Stafford from the shotgun. Throws it over the middle. Incomplete, intended for Calvin Johnson. Only the 2nd attempt to Calvin Johnson tonight, and Devin McCourty was there.
Well, it's a beautiful throw, but it's just superlative coverage by Devin McCourty. Look at him get in there and get his hand in on the football. That was a good route, a great throw, but the guy who did the best job of all was Devin McCourty.
That's only the 2nd incomplete pass on the night for Stafford. Edelman back at his own 35. He's backed up to his 28. 40. 45, still on his feet, spinning over midfield, and finally brought down at about the 45-yard line of the Detroit Lions. Terrific 25-yard return by Julian Edelman. Here's a reminder, Kevin Dillon and David Hornsby star in How to Be a Gentleman. That premieres Thursday, September the 29th, after The Big Bang Theory only. CBS. Are you in any of these new programs, Dan? It's hard to keep track.
No, I am not.
Okay.
I have my hands full with you. I'm not that good of a multitasker.
4:40 to play here in the first half.
Well, again, Dan Conley is not in at right guard. Ornberger's in there, but the protection for Brady has been a storyline tonight.
Ben Jarvis, Green, Ellis for about a yard. Make it 2, 2nd and 8.
Well, Tom Brady, this has not been a very hospitable return to the state where he played college football. This defense has been after him, and he has spent the majority of this first half on the ground. He's taken some good hits. He's been harried. It's forced him into some uncharacteristically awkward throws. And I know one thing, there is not a more competitive guy on this planet than Tom Brady. He's upset.
Brady, wide open down the middle for the completion and the touchdown to Wes Welker.
Well, he's not as upset now as he was 10 seconds ago.
Beautiful fake in the backfield by Brady.
That's one way to get better. That was a strike to Welker, and again, Wes Welker, you never expect to run a post pattern and end up that wide open.
Beautiful ball handling in the backfield, and it looked like everyone in the Detroit secondary bought it. 44 yards. Patriots' first touchdown of the night, and the kick is good.
All right, well, let's take a look at this play action. Greg referred to it. Again, he's got Ben Jarvis, Green, Ellis. The good fake. Look at him hide the football, bend at the waist. But again, when he looks up and sees Wes Welker that wide open going right down the seam, he's got to think to himself, are you kidding me? And again, this is just a complete blown coverage. And that's Aaron Berry, number 32. And he bites up the middle, and you can... The safety, Silva's turning around going, wait a minute, where's my corner that's supposed to be running with this guy?
Julian Edelman's 26-yard punt return set it up for Brady, who gets his first touchdown pass of the night. 17-10 Detroit, 3:58 to play here in the first half. And we will wait to see if Tom Brady will take the field at all in the second half of this game. Bill Belichick indicated to us it would all depend on the number of snaps that he and his offense got here in the first half.
Well, that certainly made the That made things a little more palatable, although one play isn't going to offset a lot of bad plays by New England. And again, it's just unacceptable to have Brady hit as much as he's been hit.
Logan will take this one out of the end zone. 15. And just short of the 20-yard line.
Well, again, Wes Welker is just split out to the right, and here he is right here. But watch 32 Barry. Watch him come up, and he's going to bite on the play action. Here comes Welker. There's the one step. That was it. And then the safeties rolled to the other side of the field, and that was the wrong time for a corner to peek into the backfield and see what Tom Brady was doing with the football. Peeking from a corner's position is almost always fatal.
So Stafford in the offense back to work. Oh, it's Sean Hill in at quarterback. Sean Hill, number 14, the 10th year quarterback out of Maryland. And Matthew Stafford takes a place on the sideline after a pretty good first half.
Well, yeah, those are his cumulative numbers. For tonight, he's 12 of 14. Keep in mind, 2 incompletions. One was a drop in the end zone, and the other was a sensational batting away of the ball by Devin McCourty. He put all 14 exactly where he wanted them.
Sean Hill over the middle, got his man out to the 45, and that's the rookie, Titus Young.
And Detroit has been anxious to see Titus Young get on the field. This is his first opportunity to be out here in a game. This year he's been dogged with a hamstring injury, and they think that he has got a chance to be a real nice compliment to Burleson and Calvin Johnson.
Comes out of Boise State.
They play some good football at Boise State, don't they?
They may throw it a little bit. Logan. And we have a penalty marker on the far side of the field.
Illegal formation offense. Number 78 was not on the line of scrimmage. That penalty's declined. Second down.
Well, with Matthew Stafford coming out of the game, I think what we're going to see, at least from Detroit from this point forward, is a lot of varied personnel groupings. Don't be surprised. We might see different people playing different positions. I think Jim Schwartz has seen what he wanted to see out of his number ones offensively.
On 2nd and 10, Hill throws out of the backfield. Aaron Brown up the sideline and bumped out of bounds. Out of bounds at about the 40-yard line. Pickup on the play of 15 yards, and that's a Detroit first down.
Well, Sean Hill did such a good job for this franchise last year. He played the bulk of the time after Stafford was injured, won 4 games in a row, so they know they've got a quality backup in this guy. He's been a part of this game for 10 years.
And a penalty marker thrown as that ball went flying out of bounds.
Well, that's defensive. It's either defensive holding or interference. Depends when the ball got launched.
As soon as we get the call, we're going to get the 2-minute warning.
It's going to be holding.
Holding, number 28, defense, 5-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Darius Butler, he gets a good jam.
This is the 2-minute warning.
So with that comes the 2-minute warning, a minute 57 on the clock, 17-10 Lions. Hey, stay with us. Coming up on the Sprint Halftime Report, Anthony Mason of CBS News will have the very latest on Hurricane Irene, and we will have a live interview here in our booth with Patriot Chairman and CEO Robert Kraft. That's all coming up on the Sprint Halftime Report. More yellow handkerchiefs.
Well, Gosder Cherilus is going to say...
Neutral zone infraction, number 95, defense. His movement into the neutral zone caused a reaction by the offense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
That's right. Cherilus was saying Mark Anderson jumped into the neutral zone, and that caused me to go. And that's a rule change that goes back a ways. Neil Smith, the old defensive end for the Chiefs, used to draw a lot of guys off sides, and he might have single-handedly be responsible for that rule.
1st and 5 now. Going for it all down the far sideline, incomplete. Maurice Stovall making the dive at the goal line, and Darius Butler was right with him. It'll be 2nd and 5.
Well, that was good coverage that time by Butler. Maurice Stovall is just a huge receiver at 6'5", and boy, you know, lay out like he did, he just couldn't catch up with that football. Great special teams player is Stovall, and again, they have an embarrassment of riches in tall receivers here in Detroit.
This is Aaron Brown. Dances for a couple of yards. He picked up 3, and it'll be 3rd and 2. Clock continues to move as we come up on a minute and a half to play in the first half.
Jim Schwartz telling us when we looked at him there on the sidelines that he doesn't let his blood pressure get away from him in a preseason game. But this guy is so smart, and he is so super competitive. I don't think he wants to let on how competitive he is.
On 3rd and 2. That's incomplete. Fans want a flag, but there is none. Intended for Will Heller, and Gary Guyton was covered. And so Jason Hansen will come onto the field to attempt the field goal. This will be a 46-yarder. On its way, looking good. 10-point lead for the Lions with 1:07 to play in the half. It's 20-10. Hey, our chance to tell you the Lions and Patriots join the entire NFL in celebrating USA Football Month throughout August. USA Football is the official youth football development partner of the NFL Players Association, and each of the league's 32 teams. And my partner Dan Deerdorf gave a pep talk Friday night at Oxford Academy in nearby Macomb the night before their first game on their brand new blue turf. And Oxford went on to beat defending state champ and rival Lake Orient 41-20. Maybe a better player, coach, and football parent. Log on to usafootball.com all season long. I watched you. You had fun.
Well,
you were a Canute Rockney, Dan.
I don't take any credit for them winning, but I tell you, it's so exciting to be around young people and see the fire in their eyes, the sheer enjoyment they get out of the game. They're doing it because they love it. And when you look at all the alternatives for young people today, where they could be, what they could be doing, to see these kids out on a field working at something that's really hard, I have nothing but admiration for them. I really do love it. And I'm proud of them. I'm proud of every one of them.
Brandon Tate and Sammy Morris are deep for the kick. This one will sail into the end zone, and Tate will take a knee. And so the Patriots will come out with Tom Brady to their own 20-yard line.
And again, I think, you know, when you're a coach and you're Tom Brady, you want to get some things accomplished before you call it a night's work. And I think some of the issues they've had, that last touchdown play notwithstanding, there's still some work to be done. And credit to Bill Belichick and to Tom Brady for still being out there and still trying to accomplish something.
Brady screen for Woodhead. Woodhead cuts it back out to about the 29-yard line, about a yard shy of a first down. It'll be 2nd and 1, and the clock continues to move, coming up on 50 seconds to play.
And it's a good opportunity to come in here, get some work on your 2-minute, work on the communication.
Little pump fake and a bullet to the 40-yard line. And that one complete to the tight end Aaron Hernandez, 12 yards and a first down. And we get a timeout.
Well, that was a good, precise throw from Tom that time, who's really, you know, again, if he's not having to constantly readjust, reset his feet, move around in the pocket, Stephen Gostkowski needs to get down there in the vicinity of the 35. That would give him a chance to equal his career long. Again, we're in a controlled environment here at Ford Field. Beautiful complex and right here in downtown Detroit.
Big complex. So now Brady and the Patriots first down at their own 42. Pump fake. Sideline. Picked off. Near sideline. Ricardo Silva, first-year player out of Hampton.
And Wes Welker makes one heck of an open field tackle, because I'm not sure there's a lot of sideline there for Silva. But he was put to the ground by Wes Welker.
You remember when the Lions bit on the fake from Brady before? They didn't bite this time.
Well, that was, again, that just adds to the frustration of this New England offense here this evening. Tom, there's the pump fake. You're hoping for the corner to bite all over it, but that's what happens. The safety comes floating over. Tom did not see the safety floating over from the inside, and he had a free run at things if it wasn't for Wes Welker.
Aaron Brown in the backfield now with Sean Hill. 33 seconds on the clock, and let's see if the Lions want more. Down the near sideline. Was he inbounds? They say yes at the 21-yard line. Maurice Stovall, 25-yard pickup.
Again, there's a guy 6'5", able to elevate, go up and get the ball. There's one, there's two, and he's got possession, and he maintains it throughout the catch. Nice work by Stovall and a very nice throw from Hill.
28 seconds on the clock. First down at the 21. Hill gonna go for it all again. Incomplete. This time McCourty and Stovall fighting, and the ball fell incomplete.
Well, Devin McCourty last year, how do you have a better, rookie year for a corner? 7 interceptions. He threw a sack in there. He went to the Pro Bowl. And, now he was a #1 pick, but that's more production than you really have a right to expect from a rookie corner.
And if you ask Coach Bill Belichick about it, he'll say, he did all right.
Oh, yeah. He did okay. We'll bring him back.
2nd and 10. Hill under pressure, incomplete over the middle. 20 seconds on the clock. It'll be 3rd and 10. Sean Hill getting some extensive playing time here in the second quarter. The other 2 quarterbacks on the Detroit staff, Drew Stanton, the 5th-year quarterback out of Michigan State, and 2nd-year quarterback Zach Robinson out of Oklahoma State. Matthew Stafford can consider his job in the first half well done. 3rd and 10. Hill with time. Crossing pattern complete. Aaron Brown inside the 10. It'll be 1st and goal.
This is a point in time where you really, you'd wish that New England had a full complement of defenders here, but they have so many defensive guys that didn't even make the trip here to Detroit. They're playing a little bit shorthanded defensively. And again, that's just a simple crossing pattern, but when you're in a trail position like that, you can't cover enough ground to catch up. But Cunningham's not here. Hainsworth isn't here. Sean Ellis isn't here. Ron Brace isn't here. Mike Wright isn't here. Brandon Spike, Dane Fletcher. I mean, all sorts of.
At one point last night, Dan, we thought it might be easier for Coach to tell us who was here.
Really? I mean, I just I named off a pretty good defensive unit right there. That's back in Foxborough.
Clock is moving, or is not moving. Excuse me. 12 seconds on the clock. 1st and goal. Hill over the middle. Touchdown. Aaron Brown. to Brown, who did the, if you'll pardon the expression, lion's share of the work on that drive.
Well, there's going to be plenty to work on for the New England defensive coaches when they go back and start breaking down tape. And any play that ends with 3 or 4 defenders in a group at the goal line talking to one another, trying to figure out who blew the assignment and who didn't cover the right guy, it's not a good thing.
Hanson's kick is good. Ricardo Silva's interception sets up the Lions.
Again, out of the spread formation, not much in the way of a pass rush. Sean Hill has all the time in the world, but the middle of the field just wide open, and Gerard Mayo, he's the one who's going to call the conference and saying, who's got this middle? Why is it this cannot be this wide open to a running back? And again, the goal line not even contested by the Patriots. Now Mayo's pointing to the inside. You can see, Gerard Mayo is a Pro Bowl football player, and he sure looked to me like a guy whose responsibilities were to the outside. He immediately started pointing back to the inside when Brown altered his route and went back to the middle, and yet no one was there to pick him up.
We've had a 10-point flurry in the last minute.
A pair of punts and 5 scoring plays for the Detroit Lions in the first half against a defensive football team that is, it was an area that the Patriots really want to improve upon, but there's weight. There's a lot of good football players over there. We documented they're not all here, but still that's a disappointment.
That ball is touched at about the 30-yard line. And Sammy Morris brings it back to about the 30 to 31, and time runs down. And with that, we come to the end of the first half with the score. The Lions 27, the Patriots 10. Back with the Sprint halftime report after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Welcome back to Ford Field in Detroit, everyone. Along with Dan Deerdorf and Leslie Visser, Greg Gumbel. As we get set to start the second half, the Lions with a 27-10 lead on the New England Patriots. As you look at Tom Brady
wearing a helmet.
Yeah. You look at the numbers from the first half. Chad Ochocinco, no catches, 1 penalty. The Patriots committed 8 penalties in all. They had a giveaway which led to a touchdown and had just 1 play of 20 or more yards, while the Detroit Lions came up with 5 plays of 20 or more to 5 different players.
It was a stellar performance by Detroit, who, again, I remember I talked very early on about how this game by outward appearances seems to mean more to Detroit. They want to measure themselves.
From the 4-yard line, this is Darius Butler of the New England Patriots looking for running room. Tries to break it to the outside, dragged down at the 16-yard line by Derek Williams. 12-yard return as we look at the first half numbers. Boy, look at the number of passing yards, and who would have thought that at the start of the night?
Well, again, Detroit not running the football at all, but Matthew Stafford and Sean Hill have been throwing it all over the ballpark. The lone turnover belongs to the Patriots, and big plays all belong to Detroit.
So Tom Brady is in there to start the second half for New England.
Well, Greg, I played a lot of preseason games, and whenever we were losing by this much, the first team offense always had to keep playing.
Quick pass. Mix up. No one near the ball coming down. Taylor Price appeared to be the intended receiver. Either way, it's 2nd and 10.
I'll guarantee you, without Bill Belichick saying a word, every member of this offense knew they were coming back out to start the third quarter. You just don't want to walk away with that bad of a taste in your mouth.
On 2nd and 10, the give is to Ben Jarvis Green Ellis, and he'll get a couple close to the 20-yard line. I thought it was interesting, Bill Belichick's reaction when I asked him about the acquisition of Chad Ochocinco and Albert Hainsworth, guys who weren't necessarily the best actors in their previous jobs. And I asked Bill Belichick if he takes that into consideration. He says a little bit, but mostly he just sits down and talks to them when they come in.
Well, that's what happens when you have a lot of trust in your own locker room and their ability to police one another and to show what the Patriot work ethic is, and that's how much confidence he has in Brady and his leaders.
On 3rd and 7, Brady. Little pop over the middle is complete to Woodhead, but that's not enough for a first down. He's brought down at about the 22-yard line, and that'll bring on the punting unit.
Now, remember, he did tell us that with the Albert Hainsworth situation that he talked to Mike Shanahan and said, we'll make the trade, but I want to talk to Albert first. I want to talk to him. I want to sit down across from him and make sure that there aren't going to be any problems like there were in Washington. I'm not going to play in a 3-4, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Nate Hughes is deep for Detroit. Hughes is going to let it bounce, and it takes a Detroit bounce back to the 40-yard line, where it is down. 13:27 to play in the third. A timeout. As a 27-10 Detroit lead. Back in Detroit, and a first down for the Lions at their own 40-yard line. Jerome Harrison in the backfield. Drew Stanton is the quarterback. Has the ball, little flip is complete, and across the 45 to the 48 is Joe John Finley, the tight end, and we go down to Leslie Visser. Leslie.
Well, Greg, at halftime, as you would imagine, Bill Belichick was not in a swell mood. He said, really, there wasn't anything we did very well. We gave up too many plays of long yardage. We also did not protect Tom Brady. Conversely, Jim Schwartz was in a pretty good mood. He thought that the team established an identity here today. They showed offensively and defensively they are making a statement. And his favorite player now is Ricardo Silva from his hometown in Baltimore. He said every time we put him in, he makes a play. Greg?
It is really early in the season for Leslie to come up with the line of the year so far. Bill Belichick was not in a swell mood.
Really? Well, I can just tell you this. The Lions, when you have not had a winning season in over 10 years, you should treat preseason games like regular season games. And you should attack them with the intensity with which they've been playing. That's how you learn to win.
On first down, a little flip out to Jerome Harrison. When LaSure went down with the injury, the Lions went out and signed both Mike Bell and Jerome Harrison to try to establish some depth at running back.
And I don't know that there's I doubt that this is going to be a situation that's going to be crystallized before the beginning of the regular season. I think Jim Schwartz is probably going to have to juggle running backs all season long unless someone steps out, and maybe, you know, Jerome Harrison has a Cleveland moment where he runs for over 200 yards or something.
On second down, this is Harrison. And Harrison is across the 45, inside the 45 of the New England Patriots.
Well, Jerome Harrison has, you know, this is his 7th year in the league, and he's gotten it done before, and he had some success with the Cleveland Browns. If you call a 286-yard, 3-touchdown game some success. Now, it hasn't been a model of consistency, but he's capable. I mean, he's a capable, talented running back.
You have to give a guy a shot just on the basis of that, don't you?
Yes, you do. And Drew Stanton, how's that for some escapability?
On the move, looking for the sideline and diving for the first down marker, and he got it.
Well, Mark Anderson is, look at this. He just goes right by Drew Stanton, and boy, that, talk about pocket awareness. Now that's making a guy miss you by only moving about 18 inches, which is all Stanton did. Of course, he's a favorite here in Detroit, having played his college football just up the road in East Lansing.
First down now at the 37-yard line of the Patriots. And this is Harrison. Pickup of about 5 to the 32. Kyle Love making the stop in the middle of the line for the New England Patriots.
And I'm sure that this is priority number 1 right now for Jim Schwartz, is see if we can really make some inroads blocking and running and working on this running game. I think he's seen that his quarterback is sharp. I think he's got a confidence in their passing game as they approach the regular season.
Well, it seems to me, Dan, the bigger picture for Coach Schwartz is to change what was the losing state of mind here in this franchise to the winning state of mind. Now, they won their last 4 games of the season last year, and I think it's a monumental task for a coach to change the entire outlook of a franchise that's been in the habit of losing too long.
No doubt, but I'm sure that he'll use recent history in the NFL when he sells it to his team. Teams like the Rams that were 4-12, and the next year they won a Super Bowl. You can get well in a hurry in the modern National Football League.
Stanton over the middle, knocked down, incomplete. Gerard Mayo.
And the best defensive player for the Patriots is still out on the field in Gerard Mayo.
And we have a Patriot down. That is number 24, Jonathan Wilhite. Slow getting off the turf. And so he'll be looked at, and while they do that, we'll take a timeout. 9:11 to play in the third.
CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Here we go. And by Apollo 18, in theaters everywhere Friday.
As we bring you back to Ford Field, Dave Rayner, 5th-year man out of Michigan State, will attempt a 49-yard field goal for the Lions.
This is an audition. He's not going to get Jason Hansen's job. This is an audition.
He flunked it. Long enough, but pulled it to the left, and the score remains 27-10. By the way, Wes Welker, the fine wide receiver for the New England Patriots, is not on the field, and it's as a result of this play, Dan.
Well, he makes just the fantastic open field tackle on Ricardo Silva, but the Patriots are telling us that he suffered a neck injury making that tackle and that his return is questionable. I think that means his return is not one chance in a million.
Meanwhile, the quarterback for the New England Patriots now is 3rd-year quarterback Brian Hoyer. And the place all of a sudden is full of Michigan State Spartans, Dan.
Yes, it is.
Hoyer going to go deep on the first play down the far sideline, incomplete. Intended for Chad Ochocinco.
Drew Stanton and Brian Hoyer were teammates. Hoyer's younger, so he played after Stanton left. And Tom Brady, and there's his body of work, 12 out of 22. Beautiful touchdown strike to Wes Welker, but the one interception, but harried and scrambling all day long.
Hoyer with time over the middle, popped up into the air and incomplete. Off the hands of Ochocinco. And he was surrounded by Lions, but the pass looked pretty much on the money.
The pass certainly looked catchable, and it had some velocity to it. But Chad runs his route. He's right there. He gets a chance to square up, and that's just, that's a catch that a talented wide receiver makes. Good throw. It was a very good throw.
We asked Tom Brady about Chad Ochocinco. He had nothing but the best to say about him last night. Hard worker.
The word he used to describe his route running, exceptional.
But no receptions tonight so far. 3rd and 10 for Hoyer and the Patriots. Hit as he threw the ball, incomplete. Hit and hit hard by Willie Young, the 2nd-year D lineman out of North Carolina State.
Well, what a great get off up on the top side, and that get off sucks Nate Solder down to the inside where he's late responding to Young getting back to the outside. And again, that's the rookie #1 draft choice, and that's his responsibility to pick up that edge rusher. He got a little mesmerized by what was going on inside and was just too late coming back.
Boy, the Lions have been getting off the snap all night long. Fair catch called for and made by Nate Hughes at about the 17-yard line. 8:39 to play in the third. He had his shoulder 6 days a week for 12 weeks in Pensacola, Florida last year. and had himself a heck of a first half.
No, he most certainly did. And Matthew Stafford, you saw his numbers for the whole preseason, but just take a look at this. He had beautiful protection, but the way he's delivering the ball, that time to Burleson, another one to Burleson for a touchdown. He comes back to Scheffler. But again, he had 2 incompletions today. He was 12 out of 14. The one incompletion was dropped, and the other incompletion was just a superlative defensive play.
He's going to have to work on those missed passes.
That percentage like that will drag you down.
2nd and 9. The pass over the middle, almost intercepted by Gerard Mayo. That was almost a here you go.
Yeah, well, it was. It was right into his hands. Mayo fakes the blitz there and then just floats right back into that little curl area. The quarterback has no idea he's there. Ugh. Gerard Mayo's got good hands too. He's not one of those linebackers that is clumsy.
3rd and 9. That one is complete. Tim Toon out of bounds across the 45-yard line for a first down. First-year man out of Weber State. That one good for 28 yards.
Well, Tim Toon is a catchy name. You got to give him credit for that. Wide open on that play.
Well, Matthew Stafford talking about he wanted his offense to be more explosive. 6 catches of 20 or more yards by 6 different Detroit Lions tonight.
Being delivered by multiple quarterbacks.
Yeah. This is Aaron Brown. Shakes a tackle, turns the corner looking for a first down. Out of bounds short of it, though, at about the 47-yard line. While we have a moment, take your fantasy football season to the next level with new and improved mobile apps, roster management tools, and more. Visit cbssports.com/fantasyfootball to get started. Second and 3 for the Lions. This is Brown. Brought to a stop at the 45-yard line. That'll be a yard shy of a first down.
Well, Calvin Johnson, again, just one of the building blocks of this Detroit franchise. And it's a pretty impressive thing to sit in a meeting room with Calvin Johnson when he's wearing a sleeveless shirt and you have to pinch yourself and say, this is a wide receiver that I'm talking to. He's bigger than any tight end that I played with. The guy is really an extraordinary athlete. His talent is just boundless.
We asked him about his young quarterback, Matthew Stafford. He said he's like a coach out on the field.
He's got 1 year left on his original rookie contract after this year. And of course, you know, every wide receiver in the league has taken note of Larry Fitzgerald and the contract that he got from the Arizona Cardinals. I asked Calvin about it, and he just rolled his eyes.
You know, you have to be batty not to consider this guy one of the best wide receivers in football.
Agreed.
That is a completion inside the 30 to the 25 to Derek Williams. Lions quarterbacks are just zipping the ball all over the field.
Well, last year when you talked about Calvin Johnson, it was probably about this play against the Chicago Bears where all the world thought that was a touchdown, but by the rules of the National Football League, when that ball hit the ground and came loose, it was ruled incomplete. And the NFL has clarified the rules to say that is still an incomplete pass in 2011.
Yep.
There are 3 parts to catching the ball. It's securing it, getting both feet down, and then either turning up, doing something, an act common to the game of football. But when you hit the ground, you have got to hold on to that football all the way through the process.
You ought to think about taking it home with you.
Really? That's right. When the official asks for it, go, no, you can't have it back. I'm still completing the catch.
Possession.
Good point, Greg.
2nd and 12. Stanton, poke. Tipped off the fingertips of James Ahedibo, the former New York Jet, now wearing the New England Patriot colors. It'll be 3rd and 12.
Well, Ahedibo is really trying to make this team, and this would have gone a long way towards helping that. Yeah, he had to lay out a little bit, but again, he got both hands. He got both hands on the football, and that's where everybody wants to end up, just riding the bike in the second half, watching the other guys play, and that's what Ndamukong Suh's doing now.
10th play of this drive for the Lions. Stanton on the move. Inside the 20. Diving for the first down, and he may be there, depends on the spot.
Well, Drew Stanton knew that if he went into a hook slide, he wasn't going to come anywhere near moving the chains.
He looks to be just a touch short.
Yeah, but he's close enough that lets him go for it. Less than a yard. If he'd have done a hook slide, he'd have been 2 yards short.
Aaron Brown in the backfield. Stanton sneak for it? Nope. Gonna pitch it. Ducks outside, has the first down, out of bounds. At the 9-yard line, it'll be 1st and goal.
Well, Aaron Brown getting a chance tonight to show what he can do, and this was a nice move.
You know, we haven't mentioned him yet, Dan, but Scott Linehan is the offensive coordinator here in Detroit, and he's done a nice job of calling the action offensively tonight.
Well, a lot of experience with Linehan, both as a coordinator, remember, in Minnesota, and then he was the head coach of the St. Louis Rams for several years, and one of football's really good guys.
Aaron Brown. Didn't get much.
I think there's a penalty flag somewhere in that group of folks.
Personal foul, crackback. Number 18, offense, 15-yard penalty, repeat first down.
That is on Tim Toon.
Well, Tim Toon had a nice catch for a first down, and now he kind of negates that a little bit with a crackback block. And again, this is one of those things that falls into the category of player safety. Oh, you just can't do that. No. You cannot come inside like that and then go below the waist. You can't hit him with your helmet in the head or in the neck area, but you certainly cannot go below the waist. That is a great way to tear up a guy's knee.
1st and goal from the 24. To the end zone, got his man wide open, popped up in the air and intercepted. And the touchback. Kyle Arrington came down with the football, and for a fleeting moment, Drew Stanton had Nate Hughes open right there.
Well, the ball, he was just late recognizing it, but still, that ball hits him right in the chest. And you see the helmet come off, but that ball actually hits him right. Looked to me like that ball should have been caught.
You saw Matthew Stafford on the sideline.
Now the ball, I'm sure the ball looked like it took forever to get there.
Preseason or no, Tom Brady does not like being on the short end of the scoreboard. It's 27-10 Detroit. 2:41 to play here in the 3rd quarter. Quick pass to Edelman, and Edelman across the 30 out to the 32-yard line.
Well, the one thing about a preseason game, Greg, the Patriots are going to open up on a Monday night game against Miami. No one prior to that game is going to say, you know, the Patriots didn't play very well against the Lions. I think they're going to be an underdog here. That's not the way it works.
Pass out to the near side. Edelman lost the football, still loose, and it is ruled down. It is ruled down. It is ruled a completion to Julian Edelman, and he is down by contact.
And you can see Bill Belichick glancing up to the video board. He's trying to figure out, is this going to get challenged or not? It looked like Edelman's knee was down. Let's see if his knee is down. Well, yeah, his elbow hits the ground with possession of the football. That's a good ruling on the field.
So it's 2nd and 10. Short drop. Quick pass. Incomplete. That one intended for Brandon Tate. Dan, from what you've seen, and you've been involved in football now for about, what, 175, 180 years?
A while.
The fact that these players did not get a chance to work out all summer long, big deal or not?
No, I don't think it's a big deal. I think it's a tough deal for the young players. It's a tough deal for rookies, first, second-year guys trying to fight for a spot. The reduced time where they could prove themselves, it was taken away from them.
That's Darnell Jenkins with the catch over the middle, but he doesn't have enough for the first down.
The veteran players, I think they just hit the ground running. As a matter of fact, a lot of them have fresher legs. They probably enjoyed some of the time where they were able to train on their own. It's really just the youngsters, the guys trying to become somebody in this league that were handicapped by having those opportunities taken away.
Nate Hughes is deep for the Lions. Makes that catch in traffic, maintains possession, and moves forward to about the 29 or 30-yard line. And with 40 seconds to play here in the third quarter, we'll take a timeout. The Lions with the lead. To donate $10, standard message and data rates may apply. Greg Gumbel, Dan Deerdorf, and Leslie Visser with 40 seconds to play here in the third quarter. Ian Johnson in the backfield. Drew Stanton throwing deep down this sideline. Incomplete, and a penalty marker flies.
Well, the Patriots were offside. I think one of their guys had a foot in the neutral zone. Might have been Kudavidis came up. He was faking he was trying to time his blitz, but it looked like his foot was squarely in the neutral zone.
Well, this flag was way down here.
Well, there was one at the line of scrimmage as well. That's the one he's getting now from the head linesman. Now he's getting the other one from the back judge.
Offside, number 49 of the defense. Pass interference, number 15 offense. Those fouls offset. Repeat first down.
Well, Carl Cheffers called 49. I believe he meant 46. Right there's 46, who's in the neutral zone.
And penalty or no, Drew Stanton put that one on the money.
Yes, he did. Stanton has looked good.
So we repeat first down. And this one is Ian Johnson up the middle and across the 30 out to the 32, 33-yard line. You talked about the Lions' need for a running game, and certainly Jim Schwartz thinks it's going to be better once Javid Best comes back.
Yes, and Best took a pretty good hit last week, and he's had a history of concussions. And this was really a precautionary move by Schwartz not to play him tonight. There's no question that he'll be ready for the regular season.
Final seconds of the third quarter wind down, and now out. And that's the end of three here in Detroit. With the score, the Lions 27, the Patriots 10. Back after this message and a word from your local station. Okay. And that is the very latest on Hurricane Irene. Meanwhile, Drew Stanton has hit Tim Toon for a 13-yard pass and a first down, and the Lions are working from close to midfield, but Ian Johnson is pulled down. by Landon Cohen, as we are still in the first minute of the fourth quarter.
Well, the Lions offensively put up 406 yards of offense in the first 3 quarters. They're now up to 417. The Patriots have a total of 206 total yards. So this is happening both on the stat sheet and the scoreboard.
That is complete to the 45-yard line. A catch is made by Derek Williams. And, you know, you have to like the way Drew Stanton's throwing the football.
Well, I think the Detroit offensive machine, Scott Linehan in charge of it, has got to be very pleased. But then again, you know, Stanton's been around. You know, this is his 5th year. There's Scott Linehan. This is his 5th year, so he's not some wet behind the ears pup. He's a good, solid, capable quarterback.
3rd and 1. This is Ian Johnson. He's got the first down. Meanwhile, Matthew Stafford, star this game with Leslie Visser.
Here with one of the stars of the night, of course, Lion quarterback Matthew Stafford. Matthew, you have to think things have gone really well offensively.
Yeah, we executed well. You know, we left a couple plays out there on the field. Had to kick a field goal on one drive, but other than that, we executed well, played fast at a good tempo, and had some explosive plays, so it was good.
Can you talk about your 2 touchdowns, first to Nate Burleson?
Yeah, the one to Nate, just a play action pass, and he did a great job getting inside the guy. Just threw it in there and made a great catch. And another play action to Tony Scheffler, and he just beat his guy right off the line of scrimmage. So they made it easy on me.
And you took a pop from Gerard Mayo. You feel pretty good?
Yeah, I feel great. So that was fun to get back into it.
It was. You look good. Thank you. Greg.
All right, Leslie, we were teasing Matthew Stafford and said, do you want to go out there and get a good pop and make sure that you're okay physically? And he admitted to, yeah, he was looking forward to it.
Well, I think he wants to do it to kind of ease everyone out there in the fan base that, yes, I can play, I can get hit, and I will survive.
Penalty markers fly. And look at this run by Ian Johnson. Ian Johnson pulls his way inside the 15 to about the 13-yard line. Sergio Brown knocked him down.
Well, this is going to go against New England.
Number 69 defense. That penalty's declined. Result of the play. First down.
That's a 22-yard pickup and a first down.
And you know, the pass play that ran while Leslie was doing that interview with Matthew Stafford was again another illustration of Drew Stanton's athleticism. He got blitzed right in his face. He dumped the pass over the top of the blitz and picked up some nice yardage to Matt Clapp. And again, this is the Lions just can't seem to do much wrong.
Make that 7 plays of 20 or more yards on offense tonight for the Lions. Aaron Brown pretty much stood up at the line of scrimmage.
Well, sometimes a loss like this, and you know, who knows, the Patriots can come back and score 5 touchdowns in the next 11 and a half minutes. You never know. But the way they've played so far, let me tell you something. Bill Belichick will use this as a way to refocus his guys. A coach takes this and he beats the team over the head with it. And believe me, that's what the Patriots have coming unless a miracle happens here in the next 11 minutes.
On 2nd and 9, Ian Johnson gets nothing there.
Now the other, you know, the thing I liked about when we talked to Tom Brady yesterday, when he talked about Bill Belichick, what did he say? He's the most amazingly consistent human being he's ever been around in his entire life. He teaches you that the wins, you're never as good as you think you are, and after a loss, it's never as bad as it seems. And he used the expression, he doesn't ride the wave.
That quick pass to the 5-yard line is complete to 2.
Well, Patrick Chung was in there wrestling for the football. And Patrick Chung is a starter in this Patriots secondary, and the fact that a guy like that is still out there playing tells you a little something that this isn't sitting well with the Patriot coaching staff.
Well, 4th and 2, the Lions are going to go for it from just inside the 5-yard line. They need 2 for a touchdown and about 4.5, or 2 for a first down and about 4.5 for a touchdown. Stanton. Throws. Touchdown! Derek Williams.
Good boy. This is cause for real optimism here in Detroit. Their glee will be hard to contain after this.
David Rayner with the extra point is good. And with 9:35 to play, the Lions extend their lead to 34-10.
Well, Darius Butler has the coverage on this, and you just can't sit behind the receiver. And he's just behind Derek Williams, and Matthew Stafford gets to see the jersey of his receiver, and he delivers the football, a direct hit for 6.
Happy group of Detroit Lions on this side of the field. They're on top 34-10 with 9.5 to play in the fourth quarter. Greg Gumbel, Dan Deerdorf, Leslie Visser, our producer Mark Wolf, our director Bob Fishman. Preseason game number 3 for each of these clubs. And the Lions looking for all the world like they're about to go 3-0. And this will not be run out of the end zone by Darius Butler. So we'll take a break, and then a new quarterback into the lineup for the Ford Field in Detroit, where good things are expected of the Detroit Lions this season. They lead at 34-10. We thought for a moment Ryan Mallett was coming onto the field to play quarterback, but Brian Hoyer is back out there now, and Sammy Morris with the carry just across the 20-yard line. Hey, from the producer of Sex and the City, the new comedy Two Broke Girls premieres Monday, September the 19th, right after 2.5 Men only, CBS.
You know, there's Tom Brady talking to Chad Ochocinco, and Tom was telling us how Chad has to start from complete scratch. He came from a system where the pass routes were all numbered. And we'll watch this play. Hoyer, I don't want to do the play-by-play, Greg. Go ahead.
No, you did fine.
But he comes from what the system that a lot of teams in the NFL use, the passing tree, where every pass route is numbered. Well, New England, none of their pass routes are numbered. Every one of them has a name. And he said the first time I explained the play to Chad, his eyes just rolled up in his head because I might as well have been speaking a foreign language. So it's still very much of a learning process for Chad Ochocinco to get into this passing game.
Sammy Morris for a couple. You know, the interesting thing is, although Chad Ochocinco has not made an impact in this game, it's hard to believe that as talented a receiver as he is, he would not eventually fit into this Patriot offense.
Well, I think so too. With Wes Welker and the kind of routes that he runs, Ochocinco's ability to stretch the field, to go downfield, he is such a good route runner. And then you factor in the 2 tight ends. And again, what part of the field do you defend if you're defending New England?
Hoyer on the run, throws, got his man, and that is complete. And on the move down the sideline is Matthew Slater, caught as he reached the 15-yard line, and he's brought down at about the 14.
Well, a rare opportunity for Matthew Slater to get the play from scrimmage. He's a really good special teams player, and he just doesn't get a lot of opportunity to do this. And, man, this must feel great. And, of course, I think everybody realizes, certainly all New England fans do, that his dad is Hall of Famer Jackie Slater, one of the great offensive tackles to ever play the game. But he doesn't get a chance to play from scrimmage all that often.
Little movement up front. That's first-year offensive lineman Thomas Austin. Guilty of the false start, so that'll back the Patriots up to about the 19. And we come up on 7 minutes remaining here in the fourth quarter. Sammy Morris. And back to the original line of scrimmage.
And Sammy Morris is fighting for a spot on this New England roster. You know, he's a 12-year running back, and let's be realistic. 12-year running backs are hard to come by in the National Football League. But Sammy's always been one of those guys that does everything, not great, but does everything pretty darn good.
The 13-year running back Kevin Falk didn't make this trip.
He does everything pretty well, and he's always a valuable asset. But he's fighting for a spot.
That is ruled incomplete at the goal line. Darnell Jenkins making a good catch, but unable to stay in bounds.
Well, this football's coming right at us here. Just a great job of going for the football, but it's not your fault that the only way you can grab the football is to be out of bounds in the process.
So it's 3rd and 11 for Hoyer.
Now there's another false start. That was Nate Solder, the left tackle.
You know, there's a bunch of running backs we didn't get a chance to see for the New England Patriots tonight, Dan, in addition to Kevin Falk. Ridley didn't make the trip. Richard Medlin didn't play. Shane Vereen, their second-round draft choice out of Cal, unable to play tonight.
Yeah, one thing about Vereen, he did practice this week after missing 3 weeks, and that looks good for him at least being ready to contribute. But again, rookie running backs, how are they on pass protection? Missing all this training camp is really a large handicap.
3rd and 16. Hoyer throwing inside the 10, complete to Garrett Mills, his tight end.
Well, Garrett Mills just got signed this week.
That makes 6 on the roster. 6 tight ends.
Yeah, well, you know, he was originally drafted by the Pats in the 4th round back in '06, and then he's been with Minnesota, Philadelphia, Cincinnati. So Bill Belichick knows this kid. He knows what he can do. Well, he's not a kid anymore. This is his 6th year in the league. But, you know, he's just one of those, again, that H-back kind of guy. He can play fullback. He can play tight end.
4th and 5. Hoyer throwing and misfires at the 5-yard line. Had Matthew Slater open and just missed him. 5:49 to play in the 4th. The Lions will take.
About that game is if you're Indianapolis, bring your Manning. That's the storyline of that game. Is Peyton Manning going to be ready by opening day?
With Peyton Manning last year, the Colts were crushed by the Texans on opening day. You know, under normal circumstances, Bill Belichick enjoys returning to Detroit because you talk about having roots here in the Motor City. Bill Belichick does.
Well, his dad, Steve, actually played for the Detroit Lions and then went into coaching. Well, look at this. The magic of television. We actually have footage. The old Lions. Look at Steve. Look at him. Boy, I tell you what. Now we know where Bill gets some of that toughness.
That's some tough running.
Don't run around a guy when you can run right over him.
Ian Johnson not going anywhere.
And then, you know, Jim Schwartz actually got his first experience in the National Football League by being an unpaid intern on Bill Belichick's staff when Bill got his first head coaching opportunity with the Cleveland Browns. And check it out. That is from the Browns Media Guide in 1994. Of course, he's a seasoned veteran now. He started in '93. But that is quite a look there by Jim Schwartz. And he says, I would not have one chance in a million of being where I am today without the influence of Bill Belichick.
Pass down this sideline incomplete, intended for Demario Ballard, the first-year man out of Western Oregon. There is Jim Schwartz today.
Well, women always say men get better looking as they get older. Exhibit A. He's been one of our favorites for a long time. And, you know, he got hired because of the way his defenses played in Tennessee. They were tough, hard-nosed, disciplined, scrappy guys. And when I look at the Lions now and the way they play football, Greg, I see a lot of what I used to see with the Titans defense.
He was, as you see Brandon Tate wrapped up inside the 45, he was an unpaid intern at one time for Bill Belichick. Long way. Known around the league that Rex Ryan's problem is speaking his mind.
Well, but he's right.
Sure.
You know, when you win the division 8 times out of 10 years, you are what everybody aims to beat. And Rex Ryan is right. And he tells his team that every day. We're going nowhere unless we can handle the Patriots.
Rookie Ryan Mallett in at quarterback for the Patriots. Takes a bump, completes the quick pitch. Meanwhile, in the AFC East, well, there have been a number of teams that have gotten better. Certainly the Jets. Rex has made his usual Super Bowl prediction. Miami Dolphins, it's a wait-and-see situation. I think the Buffalo Bills have gotten better this season.
Well, the Dolphins picked up Reggie Bush. We'll see how that works out. But again, you know, the Patriots last year were 14-2. They were undefeated at home. Yes, they did lose to the Jets in the playoffs, and that's what really counts. But their regular season consistency has just been extraordinary. That was Belichick's 4th 14-plus win season. Let's stop and think about that. 3 times 14-2 and 1 time 16-0.
8 division titles in 10 years.
Yeah, good stuff.
Mallett. Incomplete.
But ask any New England fan, and they'll tell you their biggest source of concern is their stumbling in the playoffs in recent history. And that's winning, you know, having a winning season in the regular season isn't enough. And that's how high the standards are in New England for the Kraft family's New England Patriots.
Sure, for a lot of people, the postseason is the dream, but not for this team.
No. Finishing is the dream.
Mallett has his man open and can't connect. Intended for Slater.
Well, Ryan Mallett had a very good first preseason game, but hasn't. It's been rocky in the 2 since then. And again, he's not going anywhere. They've got a 3rd-round draft choice invested in him. His arm is. No one disputes his arm strength and his ability to throw the ball.
Zach Robinson is in at quarterback for the Detroit Lions. 2nd-year man out of Oklahoma State. And he'll hand it off to Ian Johnson as we duck under 3.5 minutes to play here in the 4th quarter. Labor Day weekend, CBS Sports again puts on the world's toughest tennis, U.S. Open Championships. People like Roger Federer, Rafael Nadal, Maria Sharapova, Novak Djokovic, Andy Murray, Serena Williams, and much more among an all-world lineup. Labor Day weekend here on CBS.
Did you ever play tennis when you were younger?
No.
Didn't you really?
No.
Oh, I did. I loved it. My mom and dad met on a tennis court. What do you think of that, huh?
That's a story.
Information overload.
Sure. Nico Kudavides steamrolls Zach Robinson in the backfield.
That's the kind of thing that never makes an appearance in the regular season.
No. My problem was I swung a tennis racket like a baseball bat.
Oh.
Not good.
You know, when you watch those pros play tennis and you're down by the court, you can't believe how hard they hit the ball. You really, that'd be one of those things where a regular old person out there, not a question of returning it, you'd never even get.
On 3rd and 21, Johnson brought down at about the 43-44. His is a look that has evolved over the years, Dan.
Yes, it's been a number of different looks. There's Tom coming right out of college. He's already got a Super Bowl under his belt there. He's got multiple Super Bowls under his belt there. It has And now it's back into a more moderate cut. Hey, the guy, he's reached that status in life where people pay attention to what he wears, how he cuts his hair. He is bigger than just the game of football. And yet, when you sit down and talk to Tom like we get to do before games, you're constantly reminded of what a really nice guy he is, and a real gentleman.
Fourth and 15. Brandon Tate at his own 11. And nowhere to go. We took a look at the AFC East. The NFC North is what the Detroit Lions are going to be involved in. And, of course, they're looking at the defending Super Bowl champion Green Bay Packers, and Aaron Rodgers playing football as well as anyone.
And the Bears were in the NFC Championship game. You know Donovan McNabb now, the new quarterback in Minnesota, and it's a very tough division, no question about it. And any division that has a defending Super Bowl champion, that did not get worse during the offseason. The Packers are, boy, they are just a good-looking football team.
Mallett, far side of the field, completes that one to Brandon Tate. And we're coming up on the 2-minute warning. And playing out the string here, the Lions in charge by a score of 34-10 off of a strong first half performance by the Lions offense led by Matthew Stafford. Mallett completes it to Medlin out of the backfield, and that'll take us to the 2-minute warning. Back in Detroit, 2nd and 9. We are under 2 minutes to play. Ryan Mallett with a little screen to Richard Medlin, and Medlin rambles for first down yardage. It has been an exciting game for Detroit Lions fans, who have pretty much cleared out by now.
Well, it is a preseason game, so either side here better be careful about jumping to too many conclusions based on one football game.
On first down, Mallett to the near side, and that one's complete to tight end Lee Smith, and Leslie Visser is downstairs with a really big person. Leslie.
Well, the defensive rookie of the year last year certainly came out strong tonight. And Dominican, you must have wanted to put tremendous pressure on Tom Brady, and you did.
No question. We wanted to pick up from where we were at last year in the Thanksgiving game, getting after Brady, and wanted to do it all 4 quarters. I feel like we just started off right with the first group, and the second and third group finished it up perfectly, as you can see right now.
You know, what do you want the identity of the Detroit Lions defense to be?
As I said before, we wanted to earn respect last year, and I felt we did that. Want to continue earning that respect, and now it's with fear. It's all about fearing us, having quarterbacks fear us, offensive linemen fear us every single game that we step into, and that's by our play. So we can want to continue to get after our quarterbacks and offensive lines and wreak havoc.
I'm terrified just standing here. Thanks, and Dominican. Back to you, Greg.
Thank you.
All right, Leslie. Dan, I thought you put it very well when you said he has a chance to be a really, really good football player for a long time in this league.
He has every asset that you would want a defensive lineman to have. The physical part of it, that's just a given. That was so evident when he was at Nebraska, but he's got the intangibles, and in terms of the smarts, the football savvy. But now you hear that he's got the desire to be great. What he's talking about is what Joe Green did, and it's what the great defensive linemen. It's what Lawrence Taylor did. They were so dominant. They were so rough and tumble that they really did get offenses a little discombobulated, and that's the direction he'd like to go. I give him credit for that.
You have to be a veteran fan to remember the previous fearsome foursome here in Detroit, don't you?
Yeah, that goes back in the 50s. They were the original.
There's a bullet over the middle to Brandon Tate by Mallett, and we are down to the final 17 seconds.
But Greg, I will say this: he's got to keep those emotions in check during the course of a game. You can walk right up to that edge and you can dangle a toe over it, but be careful. Don't take a full step over it.
Well, he's been fined a couple of times, and you can argue the validity of those fines, but he says he's simply aggressive on the football field, and he's not going to cut down on that aggressiveness.
No, he's not, but you don't want to hurt your team in the process. And he could have, in my estimation, he could have been called for a personal foul tonight, and he got away with one. And you know, that's just the kind of stuff that as it goes on, you know, you don't want to get to the point where the officials start looking for you. Because they will. They'll pay extra attention to you.
And what did you call it? The scary FedEx delivery?
Yeah, you don't want that FedEx from the league.
Mallett over the middle, and that is complete to Darnell Jenkins. He is hit hard, and the clock continues to move. Patriots are out of timeouts. And Mallett will spike it with 3 seconds to play.
Well, there's nothing wrong with this. These are football players, and they're going to play it out. And Ryan Mallett is going to try to he's running an offense here like he's just 7 or 8 points down, and there's still a chance to win the game on the last play. These kids deserve a chance to see what they can do, and if they can get one more play, if they can squeeze it in, go ahead and do it.
Well, it's a 3rd and 3. The Detroit secondary well back. Mallett on the run, throws for the end zone. It is incomplete. Darnell Jenkins trying for the catch, couldn't make it, and that brings to an end this 3rd preseason game of the season for each of these teams. The Lions move to 3-0. The Patriots fall to 2-1. Our final score: the Detroit Lions 34, the New England Patriots 10. Coming up next, your late local news except on the West Coast. For Dan Deerdorf, Leslie Visser, for our entire crew here in Detroit, I'm Greg Gumbel. So long from Detroit. You've been watching the NFL on CBS.